Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now, this may be like 2 months? Yeah, I think it's 2 months overdue, but the point is we are finally here. It is finally the review that you've been waiting on ever since I did my last video, and that is my review for Ever After High Dragon Games to prove if I liked it or if I hated it, because I told you guys, like, well, for one, I'll tell you the story of why I'm even reviewing it. There's my dad. But I'm going to tell you guys the story of why I'm reviewing this in the first place, because for one, this should probably not be... It's probably something I shouldn't even be reviewing, and probably something I shouldn't have the thoughts on it that I do, so... Either way, I'm going to get to that, but I informed you guys in that video that I was either going to really love it, or I was going to really hate it. So you're going to find out which one that ended up being. But first off, I want to take the minute to explain why this video has taken so long for me to get to. For one, I said that I might be able to do this video during the break in our vacation, because during our vacation we were actually going back to Indiana, which is actually where I saw this film with my cousins, so yeah, that was a fun time. But then I told you guys I was going to have a break in between because we were also going to Branson. Well, it turns out we actually didn't get a break in between, because as soon as we came back from Indiana, we went straight to Branson. So, yeah, I actually didn't get a break in between that. And aside from that, when we came back, we ended up going somewhere else because we actually had to cut our vacation a bit short. Thanks to the fact that we ended up taking our dogs. We have 4 pit bulls over here. We ended up taking them to sort of a dog motel, and one of them managed to escape, so we had to cut our vacation a bit short because of that. And well, she's back now, so we got her back now, and all is fine now. But it's just like we had to cut our vacation a bit short because of that, which thankfully I still did all that I wanted to do, and I still had a good time. And we got our dog back now, so that's what matters. But also, we ended up going to other places that we didn't expect to go to, since we had to cut our vacation a bit short. So, you're going to have a lot of photos I'm going to show you when I do my sort of vacation photo. Sort of a video where I showcase all the photos I've gathered, which I have a ton, so yeah, prepare for that video. But I've also been working on a lot of customs since I got back, so yeah, I have a lot of custom figures currently in the works. And I told you guys I was having like a zoo layout. In fact, I actually showed that off in like a few videos. I'm actually redesigning that, so yeah, so we actually have quite a few changes going on right now, and quite a few customizations, so yeah, so this has been taking a little while to get to because of that, but we're here now. So, one thing before I begin the review is I want to say, for one, why before I watched it, I had gotten my expectations for it set disappointingly low. And that's because there was a minute where I thought about the movies I've seen in school. And I thought, oh crap, is this going to be like the movies I've seen in school? Because I'm going to tell you, the movies I have seen in school, like almost every one of them, there's only like one exception, which I will show you. Every one of them has been basically flat out, either just flat out forgettable, or just absolute garbage of a film. So, the only real exception to that was the 2016 remake of The Jungle Book, which I actually have on DVD. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. So, I do like this movie. But, and of course I gotta touch my screen to make sure it doesn't go black on me. But, that, and I guess The Lion King, although I still have quite a few I have quite a few things I like about that movie, but then there's more things that I don't like about that movie. Like, there's more things I don't like than things I like, which is unfortunate in a film. So, yeah. Well, let's just leave that there, but I'm gonna just say, if this had been anything like the movies I've seen in school, because if I said the movies I'd seen in school, which I can like think of either 7 or 8, I would get yelled at for days in the comments section, literally. So, yeah, I would have had some controversial picks if I would have done that, but if it had been like the movies I've seen in school, this would have had like a 20% chance of being good. Like it would have been that low, which thankfully it was nothing like the movies in school. I was thinking, oh, thankfully something cool and interesting that I can watch. And that's going to lead us into the actual review for this film. And I'm already doing really good on timing. Man, look at that. So, we're going to get into our review now for Ever After High Dragon Games. So, first off, we're going to start off with the positives. What did I like about this movie? I actually liked quite a bit. For one, I like the story. I like the concept of this film. Like, you could just throw this title out there and I'd be like, man, there's some cool things you could do with that. And they did basically everything they wanted to do. But they also gave it like another story behind the main story here, like with all the stuff involving the evil queen, which that was one of my biggest things about this, that the fact that, see, I've seen a lot of stuff that's like this thanks to my cousins, and one of the issues that they almost always have is the villains are always just trash. Here, I actually quite like the villain. The evil queen actually worked out really well as the villain of the story, and she's basically like a side character until you get to like almost like the middle of the road here as far as it goes. So yeah, I actually that's another thing too. It was well paced. The pacing here was relatively well done. I felt like that was good as well, but the concept, the story, all that is really good. And I did actually take my time with this, because not only did I watch it back in Indiana. Here's another reason why this took so long to get to. I actually have to hold on. Oh wait, I remember off the top of my head. Why am I looking at that now? I have to give a shout out to Winged Warrior 96, because I don't know their gender, but they effectively posted all 4 episodes of this on YouTube. So if you want to go watch it, what are you waiting for? It's free to watch on YouTube, thanks to Winged Warrior 94. I think I may have said 6 earlier, so don't quote me on that one. But yeah, I actually have to give a shout out to them for posting this on YouTube free to watch, because I effectively rewatched it just to see if my opinion would change, and if anything, it's actually gone up since I actually watched it. Like I actually like it a bit more than when I watched it. And when I watched it, I already kind of liked it. So, and I am admitting this fully, because that's actually an argument about one of the movies I've seen in school that I did not like. There's one film in there that you can argue isn't made for people like me, but then again, this isn't really made for people like me, yet I have a ton of good things to say about it. So, yeah, that's kind of something you can't use as an excuse for stuff like that. But okay, so we gotta get back on track here because I sort of lost focus. But other things I liked. Well, for one thing I did not think I was gonna like: the characters and the cast and crew here. Like, I'll admit, the main, like the male characters, like the love interests of the main characters here, yeah, they sucked, but they were around the only characters I thought were bad. Like, even like all the teachers, they weren't like very annoying, which I thought they were. So I thought they were gonna be. So the characters are actually a really nice positive about this movie, and there's even like some really metal lines that they deliver. It's kind of like Scream, because effectively the cast and crew, the script they were given, it effectively makes Ever After High Dragon Games kind of self-aware of what it is. So It's kind of like one of the Scream movies in that regard. So yeah, that was kind of interesting to see, and it did add a lot of humor, which the humor was well done in this film. That's another positive I'll give it, is that the humor was well done, and it actually added like a secondary bit of humor with like the meta commentary that they had on here. But overall, like the characters and the cast and crew, I actually enjoyed them. I did not think I was going to, but I ended up really enjoying them for what they were. And once again, like I also really love the dragons in here. Like some of my favorites were definitely like Jinx because of her design. I love her design. Which it's just unfortunate that she is essentially Transformers Last Night Onslaught, where she has an awesome design, yet no official figure to represent that. At least a screen accurate figure. So it's just kind of a shame there. But then you also get Nethermore, who is essentially a recreation of Godzilla Jr. from Godzilla the series. Like, she's got a similar personality and similar style to Godzilla Jr., which I actually quite like, because I love Godzilla Jr., so whenever I see a character like him, it always puts a smile on my face, and especially just the story, how it unfolds, the pacing, especially the final act, the final bits of this. Not only was it a nice wrap up, but it was just really good overall. Like everything ended brilliantly. Like there was no plot holes like a lot of the movies in school. Unfortunately, they tend to leave a lot that you have to explain to yourself. But this movie, it's not really a movie. It's more just like a special. But it wrapped up really cleanly, and the story really helped with that. So did the characters too, to a regard. So, and the animation style. There's a few bits for, and I guess the acting as well. Those are some of my, oh man, nice pretty bird outside. It's like yeah, it's just one of those moments where you like see a pretty bird and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. But as far as that's probably a small negative I have, is that the acting and the animation style is a bit finicky here and there. Like it's a bit finicky here and there, but it doesn't take you out. It doesn't take you out of it, unlike with some of the other things I've seen, like that anime series Dinosaur King. That just completely took me out of it, because like some of the animation was actually different than what was around it. And that was mainly the dinosaurs themselves. Like that it just looked really weird because of that. So, but overall, it was actually pretty decent here. And like, because there were like a few mistakes, especially if you look on Wiki, but overall, it was pretty decent for what it was. So overall, there's a lot to like about this, and that's going to lead into what's next up, and that is the mixed aspects. What aspects did I find were just like in the middle? Well, this is going to lead into an ironic conversation, and that's the fact that when I watched this, I noticed it had a lot of the same story elements as my favorite TV show, The Lion Guard. You know what I'm talking about. It had very similar story elements, and I'm gonna point out quite a few of them. A fun cast and crew, and fun characters. Let's see, that's one immediate similarity, but then again, that could be just because of how this thing works. But then you get the plot point of a character almost dying from, well, in The Lion Guard, it was venom from a scorpion sting, and Ever After High, it was poison from a poisoned apple. So, yeah, you get a character who almost dies from a toxic, I don't know exactly how to word this. You know what I mean. It's a venomation in The Lion Guard, and getting poisoned in Ever After High Dragon Games. You essentially have a character that's put to almost the brink of death in both of them. It was Simba in The Lion Guard from the scorpion sting, and Apple White in Ever After High Dragon Games with the poisoned apple. So, yeah, it's very similar there, and I noticed that because like Wait a minute. This is similar to one of the plot points with Simba in The Lion Guard. I noticed that. But another thing I noticed was Raven Queen's character arc. Her character arc, especially towards the end of it, hold on, the ear itch, but her character arc near the end of this was very similar to Kion's character arc at the end of The Lion Guard. You have these two characters who just want to live their own lives, but then an old family member comes back and tells them that nope, they want them to be evil. And in Ever After High, it was Evil Queen, Raven's mother, and in The Lion Guard, it was Scar, who is, I believe, would technically be. I think it's Kion's uncle. He's related to Kion. I know he is because of the story there with the lineage. I think he'd be an uncle. But don't quote me on that. So you have a family member, an evil family member that comes back in both, and that wants them to be this cast member to be evil. And even after they've been defeated, you still get the main cast members see that family member in reflections, and that cast member is basically being told by a family member that you're going to be evil no matter what, and they never find that evil path. So, is that just me, or does it feel like this is an interesting theory right here? But the thing about this is, it almost seems like someone who worked on The Lion Guard had seen Ever After High Dragon games and decided to put some of the stuff from there into The Lion Guard. And I'm not saying that's what happened, but I do find it curious that the timelines for both series, because, well, ironically, the first season of The Lion Guard and Ever After High Dragon games released the same year and the same month. So that's ironic in on itself, but it's just crazy. I find it interesting that while that's probably not what happened, it's interesting that the timelines for both series end up that way. So, it ends up in a way for it to make sense, for that theory to make sense. So, that's something I want to note there, is that that's just kind of weird there. And then of course you have some mixed aspects about the animation and the acting, which this is where we get into the negatives. What didn't I like? Actually, there wasn't a lot that I didn't like. Really, my only negatives on this were nitpicks. I'm not suggesting this is a huge thing. Go check it out. It's just something that I tried and that I found generally good. So my negatives are also very similar to The Lion Guard. The animation can be a bit finicky here and there. The acting can be a bit finicky here and there. And I do find, especially with the love interests in Ever After High Dragon games, there's always, in both series, there's always some characters I just don't care about. It's random Pridelanders in The Lion Guard and the male love interest characters in Ever After High Dragon games. So, but other than that, I really didn't have any major negatives to say about this. And, I mean, it's the only Ever After High special I've watched, so I don't know how it would be if I watched the other ones, which I don't feel like... I may watch them, but at the same time, I kind of want to leave this as is, because it's weird enough that I enjoyed this. But, mainly, I just had a surprisingly good time with this. I didn't think I was going to have such a good time that I did. Now, reviews on this tend to put it in the middle, I've seen 6.5 and 7.5, but if I had to rate this, because obviously it's not one of the things I'm gonna recommend first, but if it's in a marathon of shows I'm watching, I won't skip over it. It's one of those things that I like enough to where I won't skip over in a marathon. So probably gonna have to give it I'd say I have to agree with probably I think I'll give it I'm honestly gonna say like an 8.5, to be honest, because once again, it's one of those things that I do quite like. That I did really like it. It's just not one of the things I'm gonna pop in first. But of course, if it's happening in a marathon, I will definitely not skip over it. I will 100% watch it, just because I had a surprisingly good time with it. So, and if I had to recommend this, which I could actually recommend this to quite a bit of people, since it tries to be an entertaining story and doesn't have a bunch of weird stuff in it. Okay, there goes my dog. There goes my dog's barking. But I can't. If I were to recommend it, I would just say, watch it, give it a try, because give it a try, see how you like it, because that's exactly what I did here. So, yeah, I've got to say, I overall enjoyed it. And it's surprising how much I did enjoy it, but overall, I enjoyed it. I had honestly a good time with this. So, but both times I watched it. So, yeah, I gotta say, overall, if you want to go check it out, definitely go do so. Just give it a try, see how you like it, just like I did. And we, of course, we all have different opinions, but this is something I could really recommend to anyone, since it's by far something that is like definitely user friendly. Like, if I got like a tagged on this video for something inappropriate, that would be just like, I'm pretty sure I could fight that out with someone, because this is by far like probably the most inoffensive theme. There's only like probably one thing in it that you could judge, and it's very quick, and it's in the middle section, and that people kind of do judge for it. But that's probably another small negative, and I'm not saying it because I don't know what YouTube has a problem with nowadays. So, but either way, I enjoyed it. I actually quite liked it. But of course, what do you think? I'm always up for your guys' opinion. So, tell me down in the comment section below, what did you think of this special? And of course, I will see you in the next video.